Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about our wildcard predictions and how they pretty much turned out.
And I'm Jordan.
And I'm Davin.
Hello. And the first game I want to talk about is...
Hang on. Can we just start out by saying I went 6-0 in my picks? Just saying I'm pretty good at this stuff. He went 4-2. He went 4-2. Not bad, but like, come on, bro.
Alright. I want to start off talking about the Jaguars-Chargers game. Let's look at the stats.
Okay, we're starting off. Okay.
We're just going to dive right into it. Justin Herbert, 273 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and an 84.7 passer rating.
Okay.
That's a pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. Alright. And Austin Eckler. Here's what surprised me. 13 attempts, 35 yards, averaged 2.7 average 2.7 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns.
That's that Jags defense.
That's something. That got me. And then Keenan Allen, 6 receptions, 61 yards, averaged 10.2, and his long was 23. 0 touchdowns. And Cameron Dicker, 3 of 4 field goals. The fourth one would have won the game, with finishing in a 30-31.
That's very true. Here's my take on it. The Jags were down 27-0. I knew before this game, like I said in the first video, I'm a Chiefs fan. I knew coming into this game, the Bills or Bengals probably weren't going to lose. So I really had to decide who I was for here. The Chiefs beat the Chargers twice this year, Jags once. But a team, it's very hard to beat a team 3 times. Therefore, I was for the Jags the whole time. Yet they came back from 27-0, which scares me for the upcoming matchup. But Trevor Lawrence, on his first 5 drives, had 4 interceptions, and three of them were in the first.
Same dude. 3 of them were the same dude.
3 of them were to the same guy, and 3 of them were also in the first quarter. Man was off to a shaky start. So my take on this game is I think Trevor Lawrence kind of was just nervous. I mean, it's his first game. Everybody's calling him the prince that was promised. And he kind of finally settled in and got used to how it's played. He just took a deep breath and went on from there. And Travis Etienne, to go along with this, he had 20 carries for 109 yards, which I think really helped Trevor Lawrence out because if you can't establish a run game, the pass isn't going to open up. They're just going to guard, they're going to set back, maybe in a cover 2, something like that, and it's going to be very hard to pass. For the Jags, they also had 4 different receivers with a touchdown, and the leading receiver was Evan Ingram with 93 yards.
93 yards.
93 yards.
Wow, that's crazy.
And Lawrence had 400 or 300 yards. Is that what you said?
Trevor Lawrence had 288 yards.
Yep. With the hitting his rating.
And 4 touchdowns.
Rating was a 70.2 that game, which is not very good. But it's because of 4 picks. His rating in the second half was way above 100. And then in the first half, 10. Really.
All right. Niners, Seahawks. All right.
This game
was pretty predictable, but it actually started out as a good game. With Geno Smith leading the Seahawks into halftime, winning 17-16.
Mm-hmm.
But Brock Purdy coming out 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interception, and 131.5 passer rating.
Exactly.
And Christian McCaffrey dominating the field, 15 attempts 15 carries, 119 yards, 7.9 per carry. But he had no touchdowns. And then you look at receivers, and I've been telling you, they got that quiet receiver. Who did I tell you that was?
Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk, 3 receptions, 73 yards, average 24.3 a completion.
To go along with McCaffrey here, McCaffrey also had 2 receptions for 17 yards and a clutch touchdown, which sealed the deal with their 41-23 rout over the Seahawks. And I don't really know if you caught on with Deebo here with 133 reception yards, 1 reception touchdown, and 32 rushing yards.
And then his long was 74.
And then Kittle, which this really kills me to say this. Kittle only had 37 yards.
Really?
That makes me wonder Kittle, he usually gets 90 yards, 80 yards, 100 yards. What could have happened if Kittle would have gotten his groove? Could that have been a 60-10 game? Really?
Then on the other side of the ball, you had Geno Smith, which coming in, everybody was iffy. Everybody thought the 49ers were going to dominate the Seahawks. But he actually held his ground a little bit. 253 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Finished at a 98.9 passer rating. Geno Smith coming in from a year everybody was saying it was going to be rebuilding season and holding his own for a whole half. I feel like he did good. I feel like he's proven to be the future of QB1 for the Seahawks. And then you had DK Metcalf, 10 receptions, 136 yards, 13.6 on average, and 2 touchdowns. Like, for DK, that was really good. But I think what really messed up the Seahawks for this game was that fumble that they had when they were in the red zone. You remember?
Yeah, Geno Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's what pretty much ended the game for them.
I'm very much going to give credit to Geno Smith here. Although he had that fumble, which turned the momentum. I mean, it was already, they were down by 6 at the time, but that killed the momentum and swung it so much in 49ers' way. I'm going to give him credit for proving all the doubters and haters wrong, and actually, leading the Seahawks to the playoffs, breaking Russell Wilson's passing record along the way, and just really competing for half a game with, which I think will, the 49ers, which probably going to go to the Super Bowl, or at least they're a good favorite to go Super Bowl. So I'm really going to give them credit on that. But once again, the 49ers are just doing what I figured would happen in the second half and, blowing that game away.
Now, the game that really surprised me.
The Buffalo Bills.
The Bills.
You want me to lead on from here?
Go ahead.
Josh Allen in this game, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which are very costly, 93.1 passer rating, and only 20 rush yards. Josh Allen with only 20 rushing yards, and that topped off, that gave them the win with 34-31 against the 7-seeded Dolphins with a third-string quarterback. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I found it crazy that they actually held the lead. I believe at one point it was 17-0.
Something like, yeah.
Yeah.
10-0.
10-0. Man, and having a third-string quarterback in, Mike McDaniel just shows the Dolphins made a good decision going with Mike McDaniel as the head coach. He shows he can make it to the playoffs. He shows he can at least keep it a close game, if not win something in the playoffs. So I think this was a really good game. It wasn't going to be a blowout like everybody expected it to be. But yeah, definitely was a good game.
Of those 352 yards from Josh Allen, 227 of them and one of those touchdowns of the 3 were to Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs, with Diggs having 114 and Gabe Davis being 1 yard behind with 113 yards. And what actually legitimately surprised me from Buffalo is although Josh Allen only had 20 yards, they still had 107 rushing yards total. And they're the worst rushing team. We're not like Tampa Bay, but they're the second worst. So it really surprised me that they got that many rushing yards. But it makes you really wonder, what if the Dolphins could have been better that game against the run? Or, what if, one of them wouldn't have went their way? Would the Bills have lost? I think so.
Or if they kicked and missed all 4 PATs.
Right? I think he knows what that means there.
All right. Going in, I want to move on to the Giants versus Vikings. You go ahead and start us on this one.
All right, Daniel Jones in this game had an impressive 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 114.1 rating, which is very good, and 78 rushing yards. Daniel Jones.
That's more than double Josh Allen.
Saquon Barkley, to go along with his rush yards, had 109 total yards, including rushing and passing, and 2 total touchdowns. And you're not going to believe when I tell you that the New York Giants actually had a good receiver in this game.
Who?
Hodgins had 105 reception yards. 105 and a touchdown. Not a touchdown, but...
Yeah, 105 reception yards.
Yes.
That's crazy for the Giants. Final score being 31-24. Vikings, I feel, could have done way better. I feel the Vikings weren't living up to their potential, but Kirk Cousins under pressure or in primetime games, he definitely has shown he is not giving his best. But Giants, they fought, they won, and they showed why they're in the playoffs, why they deserve to be in the playoffs.
The Vikings, okay, so they got off to a really good start, They marched right down that field, and I was sitting there thinking, man, the Vikings, because I was talking to my dad, a whole day before, I was like, what if the Vikings just come into this game and just, blow the Giants out? What if all these one-possession games were because I called them kind of frauds, not really, because winning 11 games by one possession is kind of sketchy. Like they're so sketchy, but they're not like Eagles to me. But anyway, I was like, what if Kirk Cousins just like goes in here, he like starts dominating, like, you know, they don't look back. And after that first drive, I was like, oh wow. But then the Giants immediately, literally like boom, 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 right down there, Saquon Barkley touchdown. Like that was like, oh wow, this is about to be a 50-50 game here. But then, like, you know, later on as the game goes on, Giants just kind of like kept their own. They kept the lead after taking the 17-14 lead, and really just, you know, never looked back, never tried to live too much, taking all the pressure. But just like I figured would happen, a really close game. But the Vikings finally lost the one possession game. They're 11-1, and they lost the only one that really matters, which is very unfortunate for them.
Yeah. Right.
Now we move on to the Bengals and Ravens game from last night, and which ended up being a 24-17 Bengals win. I'm going to say an impressive performance from Tyler Huntley, although he did lose in the game on that fumble at the 1 yard line, which ended up being a 98-yard touchdown for the Bengals on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. That play really, I'm saying right now, if Ravens get that touchdown, they win the game. Like, I'm sticking with it. I think the momentum was with them. The Bengals would have really had to go get a touchdown, and then all the Ravens had to do is kick a field goal.
Yep. Get
to the 50-yard line, Justin Tucker's got you. Like, really. But Burrow in this game, he had 209 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, a 99.6 rating, and also a rush touchdown. But Mixon in this game, unlike Joe Burrow, actually had a pretty bad game. 56 total yards for Joe Mixon. Man, this man.
I figured Joe Mixon would start slowing up because I believe it's at the beginning of the season, in the middle of the season, he really blew up and he was taking the lead by yards. Like, he was getting, everybody was focused on him, and then he started slowing down to the end of the season. I had a feeling that he's still going to be in that funk, but him still going, I feel he's going to find a way out, either this next game or if they advance further in the AFC Championship, then in that game.
Yeah, so those 56 yards is actually, I don't like that because this man was killing me in fantasy football this year. But unlike Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase had a really good game with 9 receptions, 84 yards, and 1 touchdown. It seemed like every time the Bengals were in trouble, it was like, come on, give me the ball. That's pretty much what he was saying. On one drive alone, he got like 5 receptions. This man's crazy. And I think it's going to be a heck of a game this weekend between the Bills and the Bengals. But we'll see. I can't get my prediction yet. That'd be for next video. But I think it's going to be a heck of a game.
Hey, drop in the comments what y'all think his prediction is going to be. Bills or Bengals.
It's going to be tough. And then last but not least, I'm going to let you take this one. The Cowboys and the Buccaneers.
Cowboys or the Bucs. Let's get it. Okay, Cowboys coming off a win against the Bucs. I want to point out week 1 when we lost to the Bucs 19-3. After the game, Dak Prescott went up to Tom Brady and told Tom Brady, "Don't worry, we'll be back. We'll see each other again." And which, sure enough, we did. Coming off a 31-14 win, Dak Prescott had I think it was 33 for 45.
Completion 143.3 passer rating.
Yeah,
amazing.
At 305 yards, like, he was going off. And then you had 4 touchdowns
and 1 rush.
4 touchdowns. You had 2 to Dalton Schultz, CeeDee Lamb, and then his rushing touchdown.
He had another reception touchdown.
Who was that one? Michael Gallup? No, that one didn't count.
Yeah, it did.
That one didn't count? The one to Gallup?
The one, remember, he ran on the, like, at the...
yup. Michael Gallup. I figured they called that one back. Yep. But that's 4 touchdowns for the Cowboys. Then you had Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, which they really didn't make a big splash this game.
Pollard, 77 yards, led the way.
But they still hit him with that 1-2 combo, which I'm glad they did. And you have CeeDee Lamb. Dalton Schultz is really what got me this game.
95 yards, and CeeDee Lamb had 68.
Yeah, so for a tight end to have more yards than a receiver and have more touchdowns than a receiver is beyond crazy. And let's talk about that Cowboys defense. Micah Parsons, they kept pressuring Tom Brady. Tom Brady and Mike Evans not being on the same page, couldn't find the right connection, the right time. It wasn't toward near the end of the game they actually started getting points. I believe the third quarter they still had nothing, 0 points. and then they finally got the touchdown, went for 2, failed the 2-point attempt.
And in the fourth, they got the touchdown and 2-pointer, but
Yeah.
kind of trash time points, I would say.
But
This game was over.
yeah, game. It was. I was worried at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, cause they beat us 3-19. But I knew we were gonna get the revenge. I was dressed all in my Cowboys gear, and yeah.
Yeah, defense is definitely something I don't really talk about, or we haven't really talked about on this episode or this video. But without that Cowboys defense, this game definitely would have been a lot closer, I believe. At least 30. Well, not they probably wouldn't score 31, but for the sake of it, it's probably like 31-24, maybe 27, something like that. I think the Cowboys really outplayed them, but
I want to talk about something that I don't really hear other people talk about: the Cowboys O-line.
it was impressive today. They weren't allowing pressures to Dak or anything.
And 1 sack was allowed. Zach Martin, key to that Cowboys O-line, knows how to work from the first stage and get up to the linebacker to get a second, which helped Tony Pollard get a big burst for a first down. And this O-line is probably the best I've seen it in forever.
All right, now lastly, I want to talk about that because I know you're gonna like it. How about that Dak Prescott pulling out his inner Peyton Manning on that rushing touchdown?
Oh my gosh. 1 yard line, like I have flashbacks.
4th down and goal.
That was by far one of the best fake handoffs I've ever seen. The way he just like faked it, and then even if the linebacker decided to come towards Prescott, he had Schultz in the backfield if he wanted to lob it.
For that 3rd touchdown.
Yeah, so it was a good game.
Very good game. So tomorrow we're gonna be uploading a video predicting doing our picks for the divisional round. I want you to drop once again who you think I'm gonna pick, Bills or Bengals, and who you think is gonna win. Really, who you think's gonna win any matchup? Because I'm curious, and I'm hoping to go undefeated in the playoffs. 6-0. 6-0.
Undefeated.
I'm hoping to go undefeated, but
Alright.
it's gonna be tough.
Like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right, peace out.